Hello everyone, this is a Geek Must-Have with a security tip. How do you back up the contents of one of your NAS Share drives to a cloud backup service like this CrashPlan Pro that I use and avoid having a problem where all of a sudden it's unable to find your share drive? Let's take a look at our map drives to find out if W has been defined or not. And if you see here, we have QRVXY. There is no W that's been mapped. And while we may think that's the problem, it really isn't. But let's map it and find out what happens. We'll right-click on this PC. We'll go to Map a Network Drive and click on it. The drive we want is W. And the folder happens to be this Mondo NAS Big Drive 01. We'll browse to it. We'll confirm that that's the place we want to be. And now when we click on Finish, the W drive appears here. So now that everything appears that it's okay, let's go back. And we'll close out CrashPlan and we'll restart it. And unfortunately, it still says all of our drives are missing. I looked at the CrashPlan frequently asked questions, and there was really no information to how to go about resolving this. And after a little more searching on Google, I came across an article that mentioned a method where this could be done. And it explained it like this. The CrashPlan utility runs as a system service. It needs to run that way in order for it to do its work. When you map a drive, you're mapping it as the authority/user. The problem is the drive needs to be mapped as the authority/system. The trick is to use a utility called PSEXEC64 that comes from a site called System Internals. I'll have a link to it below, which is a Microsoft kind of black projects site where a number of utilities have been written to help folks who use Windows. So the way the solution works, you open up a PowerShell in admin mode, you run this PSEXEC64 command, and it opens up a new PowerShell window as the authority/system. And from within that window, you can use the netuse command to map your NAS shared directory into a mapped drive that CrashPlan can use. You can type these commands in manually, but if you're like me, you'll probably never get them right, even after keying them 4 or 5 times. The better approach is to use a set of scripts. I prefer to do the work in PowerShell because it's a better alternative to the older DOS command line that was available for many years. And I would like to make the process as automatic as possible and also put a little bit of fun into it by making it look pretty. Let's run this PowerShell script that will help us map our NAS drive to the W drive. We have a number of drives here, and as you can see, there is no W drive. I'm going to run the script completely through to its end, and then after that I will dive deep into how the script works. The entire script plus all of the commands to make it run will be available in a link in the description below. So here is the beginning of the script. And there's a cute little girl there that says set W drive as the NAS share. All right. And it's saying it's going to reopen the PowerShell as the administrator. For this to work, we have to have PowerShell open in the administrator mode. Embedded inside of the script is the ability for it to determine whether it is in administrator mode, and if it isn't, to relaunch itself into administrator mode. So here it says, press yes when asked, do you want this app to make changes to your device? When you start PowerShell in the admin mode, it opens up a window to confirm that that's really what you want to do. So I'm going to press the Enter key to continue. And it chimed for a little bit. And how you can tell that you're in administrator mode is up here at the top. You can see it says Administrator, Windows PowerShell, and the girl changed into a boy. And it says Set W drive as the NAS Share. All right, it says you should be in PowerShell admin mode now. Verify this by looking at the header, and we are. So now it's asking to press the Enter key to continue. And when I do this, it's going to run a command called psexec and open up PowerShell in a mode where the authority is the authority/system. It's mentioning I'm logged in as a regular user for CrashPlan to work. So now it's going to run that psexec. And it opens up another window. It says, as a result of the psexec, we should be the authority/system account. This script is running as, and it says here, NT authority system. This is verifying that we are in the proper mode to be able to map the drive so that CrashPlan can see it. Hit the Enter key one more time. It says it's going to run the netuse command, and here's the netuse command. It says press Enter to continue. It says the command completed successfully. It now says the W drive space is shown below. And because this is a NAS drive, it's got 14 gigabytes or 14 terabytes of space available on it. And it says the mapping of the drive to Mondo big drive has been done. Control will now be returned to the original script. So when I click this press Enter now key, this PowerShell window, which is the second one that was open, will go away and will return to the mother script, the blue one behind here. Press the Enter key. It says PowerShell has exited on Recombo error code is 0, which is good. Phoenix Learning Labs, mounting of Mondo NAS script has completed. Press any key to continue, and it goes away. So after about 40 minutes, the CrashPlan Pro actually managed to compute how many files were available and how much work needed to be done in order to do the backup, which means it's going against the W drive just fine and is saying it's going to take like 15 days to catch up all the data that it needs to back up. This confirms that we were able to get the NAS Share drive to be mapped as the W drive so that it can be used to do backups to CrashPlan Pro. So now we'll take a look at the two scripts that we use to do this process. One is the Start W, and the other one is the Start W2. I want to make a comment at this point that this is not normally how you would go about writing PowerShell scripts to do a task like this. I've written this way in order to help make it hopefully more understandable to people who are trying to do the same thing. If I were to write these scripts for production, they would be very short and would have no pauses in them and would just do the task and finish. These were written, kind of special. I'm using the Visual Studio code editor to do most of the work I do because it has a very nice set of syntax checking for PowerShell scripts to do the IntelliSense and key things ahead for you, and also color code your editor in such a way that it's very easy to see where the errors are. First component of this is to compose a message of 2 parts, and then it passes that message through a pipe along to a command called boxes. Well, boxes is a command, and I'll provide a copy of that command in the file in the description. It's a holdback from my old Linux days, and it basically pops up a message with, in this particular case, the girl holding a piece of paper or the boy holding a piece of paper. I managed to find a copy of Boxes on Windows, and I use it in my scripts as well as my scripts on the Linux side to do things. I do it just so the scripts look a little better than plain ordinary scripts. But it displays that. Then it puts together a message that says, PowerShell is usually opened. Remember to press yes when you're asked to flip this up, and displays it on the screen in a yellow format. Then it reminds you to press the yes key when you want to start this device. And then the next step is the important step where the script looks at itself and says, am I an administrative script? So it looks over here and it says, am I an administrator script? All right. If it's not, all right, it will pause. Then the next item is, again, it checks to see if it's the administrator. And if it is not the administrator, it then will start another process in PowerShell. So basically, it's launching another process in PowerShell. It's saying no profile, execute all the policy bypass and everything. And it's executing this PowerShell reserved word called PS command path that says, where am I currently? And the important item is this run as. The run as tells PowerShell that when it launches itself is to run as the administrator. So what happens is the script relaunches, and when it relaunches, it will come back and say, set W drive as the NAS Share drive, right? And send that to the boxes again. In this case, it'll still be the boy. And it says you should be in PowerShell admin mode now. And you verify that by looking at the header of the window. And then we do a who am I. The who am I is a command that comes back and tells you what you are logged in as. All right. In this case, it says you're currently logged in as who am I. All right. And that's a confirmation to let you know who you are at that particular point in time. All right. And unfortunately, you're not yet at the stage where you're the administrator. It's going to come back and display your user ID at this point. All right. So it has to run this PS exec or PS exec 64. Again, a copy of that will be inside of the file for this description. But this is available from the Microsoft System Internals site. And it prints out a message in yellow, and then it says PS exec will open a new PowerShell window. And here's some more indications about how this works. You can read this about how to go about doing that. I don't use the DOS Windows command line anymore. I use PowerShell. So this will ask for PowerShell to execute itself. And when it does, it's going to re-execute itself using the second part of this script. So it's going to repeat that on the screen and display it in kind of a bluish color. Then it's going to do the PS exec. All right. The PS exec is the command that actually will create a new window. In this case, it's going to say launch the PowerShell window in interactive mode and use this script to start with, which is the second part of our script. So at this point, command transfers from here to the second script, this start W PS1. So we'll jump over to the start W PS1 script. That's this one here. And this is the child script of the start W script. All right. Comes back and says net use. This is the command we wanted to use to mount the drive as the W drive. It's a standard net use command as W with the name of my NAS drive, which is Mondo NAS Big Drive. In my lab, that's the big 64 terabyte NAS that is in the workshop. And it is saying to log on as user JShoes2 and landsra 9035. Now, for all you people out there who are saying I'm exposing my user login and password, rest assured that after I've finished this script, both of those will be changed. Not that you'd be able to get to it, but it's a good idea. I use these for this particular video because I've never used them anyplace else. It's a safer bet. So we clear the host. It says, as a result, the PS exec 64, we should be the authority system account. And then we do another who am I. At this point, the who am I should say NT authority /system. All right, and then it confirms that and pauses. All right. Next part, it says run the net use as the authority system. It displays that on the screen, and then it does an invoke expression, which means run this text string right here, which is this one right here. It's a good idea after you do that to give some confidence back to the user, which is me or who's ever running this, that it is fix that S, that they're actually being able to, that they're seeing something on the W drive. So I use the get PS drive W, which says it's one of the standard commandlets in PowerShell. And it says select the objects, and I'm looking for used and free. So I'm saying run this command, but only show me these two columns, and then format it as a nice table. Then I broadcast another message here and display it in yellow. And then when I'm done with this particular script, which has mounted the drive and displayed how much space, I exit it, which in this case, it then stops running this and returns to this script here. Command is then returned to this script, and it's returned to that script right at this point right here. So ran the PS exec, then it says after the PowerShell window's been started, this is where it resumes. So it displays another message, only this time it uses the parchment boxes text display, which puts the message in like a parchment paper. I kind of like this one a lot. And it writes to the host, and then it does a pause. And when you press the pause on this one, it basically closes down the script, and your W drive is mounted. I would like to repeat at this point that I would normally write the script this way. You could write this entire process of mounting this drive with the two scripts and about 11 lines of code. I just wanted to be able to describe in better detail for people to be able to understand how this process works. I hope that you enjoyed this video and possibly even learned something from it. And if you would subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. Have a good one.